The stone sits under glass now, cold, ordinary at first glance, gray, coarse, unremarkable. But the surface is wrong. Runes are cut deep into the face, sharp angles, confident lines, not decorative, not symbolic. Informational, a message, carved with purpose. Discovered in 1898 in rural Minnesota, pulled from the roots of an aspen tree by a Swedish immigrant farmer named Olof Oman. Not buried in a museum, not hidden in a tomb, just there, in farmland, in North America. The runes describe a journey, a date, a violent event. 14 men, dead by blood and exhaustion. A warning carved for someone who never came back. The date etched into the stone, 1362. That number hangs in the air. Europe barely understood the Atlantic then. Columbus is still more than a century away. And yet this stone claims Scandinavians were here, deep inland, hundreds of miles from the coast. If it's real, history breaks. If it's fake, it's the most elaborate hoax ever carved into American soil. The camera lingers on the grooves. The cuts are weathered, old, or pretending to be. This is not a story about belief. It's about whether a stone can lie. The textbooks are clean. Vikings reached North America once, briefly, around the year 1000. L'Anse aux Meadows, Newfoundland, a short-lived outpost. Then silence. The Norse world collapses inward. Europe moves on. The New World remains unknown. That's the story. By the 14th century, Scandinavia is battered by plague, famine, political collapse. Long-distance expeditions fade. Records vanish. According to official history, no one from Europe crosses deep into North America again until the late 1400s. So when Oman presents the stone, scholars react fast. The language looks wrong. Some runes feel modern. Certain words resemble 19th century Swedish dialect. Historians call it a prank, a farmer's joke, a nationalist fantasy carved by immigrants longing for ancient roots. The verdict comes quickly. The case closes. Museums label it a hoax. But the stone refuses to disappear. It doesn't crack under analysis. It doesn't neatly fit the lie. And year after year, new eyes return to it. Geologists, linguists, forensic specialists. Not because they want it to be real, but because it won't behave like a fake.
Granite doesn't forget. Under magnification, the runes tell a second story. Weathering inside the cuts matches centuries of exposure, not decades. Tool marks are inconsistent with 19th century steel. They resemble softer iron tools, pre-industrial. Lichen growth penetrates the grooves, slow, measurable, time-stamped by biology. Then the language, Yes, some runes appear modern, but modern compared to what? Medieval Scandinavian texts weren't standardized. Regional dialects overlapped. Runic systems evolved unevenly across centuries. New discoveries complicate the dismissal. Medieval manuscripts from Gotland and Greenland show similar phrasing, similar rune substitutions, the same grammatical shortcuts scholars once called impossible. And then there's the content. The inscription describes a joint expedition, Swedes and Norwegians together. It references camps, fishing, inland travel. This isn't mythology, it's logistics. The final lines describe a massacre. 10 men found dead, bloodied. The survivors carve the message as a warning. No gods invoked, no epic poetry, just information. Ancient texts from Scandinavia speak of Western voyages after Vinland, lost expeditions, unreturned crews. Greenland settlements vanish around the same time. Trade routes collapse, records stop mid-sentence. If a group pushed west, then south, then inland via river systems, they would reach Minnesota. The rivers still map the route. The stone isn't dramatic. That's the problem. Hoaxes exaggerate. This one sounds like men who didn't expect anyone to care.
No answers, only wait. The Kensington Runestone remains in limbo. Not proven genuine, not conclusively fake. Too old for a joke, too inconvenient for history. If it's real, then Europeans crossed North America long before Columbus, not as conquerors, but as explorers who failed. No empire, no return, just bones in forests and a warning carved into stone. If it's fake, then someone in the 19th century possessed knowledge archaeology wouldn't uncover for another 100 years. They understood medieval linguistics, geological weathering, biological aging, and they chose to hide it in a field. The stone doesn't ask for belief. It sits, it waits, and it forces a final question that history still avoids. Did we arrive here later than we think, or did we forget who came before?